All right, so welcome to Social Work 793. My name is Michael Quant, and I'm going to be your instructor for this semester. I know some of you might not be so excited about taking an online course. Others of you may. But just to help you to feel rested, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about the online courses that I've taught. And a lot of it has to do specifically with this video environment that you're going to be watching me instruct about not only the course content, but also how to do the assignments, how to do the project. And I think that it's going to be as interactive as possible. I like to keep it that way, and I think it's going to help you to learn and help you to have as many takeaways from this course as possible. So a little bit about me. I've been teaching this course for a couple of years now. I think it's been about 5 sections of this course I've taught. I started out teaching 662. Same thing, I think I've taught about 6 or 7 sections of that as well. But I've been at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee for about 10 years. I've taught educational psychology, a couple other different courses here. And I'm actually not, to be honest, a PhD in social work, but actually in psychology. So I think that it's really, really similar how we do things in social work and psychology, specifically for this course. And I think that the examples that I can provide may be a little bit unique from the psychology perspective, but I've also used a lot of examples from previous semesters of social workers that I've worked with. Without sharing too many personal stories or too much personal information, I will share a picture of my family. So these are my 2 daughters. They're a little bit older than they look in this picture. This was taken a while back, but they're 3 and about 1.5 now. And then my beautiful wife, Marika, she's from the country Georgia in Eastern Europe. Actually, she's from the city Tbilisi. So that's where we got married. I've been back a few times. We took our daughters there. I actually met her in Milwaukee. She was an exchange student. So, yeah, that's probably all you need to know about me. So back to the syllabus. I've got my cell phone here. It's 414-949-9668. My email is mbquant@uwm.edu. You could probably also use my personal email you might get back. It's the same thing, mbquant, but at gmail.com. I don't have office hours per se, but if you do want to Skype with me, I can set that up. Otherwise, FaceTime, either one works for me, and I'd be happy to help you out in a more personal way. A little bit more about the course is that this is a graduate level MSW course intended to help students develop a scientific orientation to examine issues of social work practice. So again, this is helping you to improve your practice by measurement using single system designs. So as opposed to some other courses that are more about theory, this one's really closely related to the practice that you're going to be doing and helping you to quantify your outcomes. This course is closely related to practice methods and field instructions curriculum, and it's going to help you to improve the work that you're doing with your client. The course focuses on single system design. Some of you might be familiar with single system design methodology. Some of you, it may be pretty new. Don't panic if you haven't heard too much about it. It's generally something that students who've got no experience with this have still been able to learn pretty quickly from my experiences. So there is an emphasis on learning by doing. So your course project is really going to be focused on trying to apply what you're learning from each module to your project, and hopefully being able to translate that into the work that you're doing. I'm also going to be examining some ethical issues and how research practice may be influenced by race, ethnicity, social class, gender, and sexual orientation. All right, so the course prerequisites, again, hopefully you've taken 662 or have concurrently registered for 721 or 722. And being that this course is entirely online, an intermediate understanding of D2L is required. So if you've got no experience with D2L, please seek help. I can't put a video together to show you how to use D2L, but everything that's going to be for this course, whether it be papers, course content, lectures, everything's going to be on D2L. You're not going to be submitting any papers to me. Everything's going to be going to the Dropbox. So if you are unfamiliar with D2L, you're not an online person, you're not a computer person, I would recommend you just take the regular class. Sometimes people think that the online course is just an easy way out of doing hard work. But that's unfortunately not the case for this. Sometimes online courses you might actually have to end up doing more reading because you're not going to be able to really discuss with your course or your classmates like you normally would. So please keep that in mind. This isn't meant to scare you away from this course, but just to let you know that it is rigorous And you do have to stay on top of the videos and on top of the online course content in order to do well. So there's some more stuff in the syllabus about online courses. I'm not going to read it all to you, but feel free to read through it at your own time. All right, so the course goals and objectives. The social work program at UWM is focused on metropolitan issues with a focus on social justice, cultural diversity, and empowerment of individuals, families, organizations, and communities. So the goal of this program is to educate and train social work practitioners to demonstrate skills and specialized practice and scholarly pursuit of MSW level skills. I'd like you to walk away with the knowledge of how to use 2 or more single system design methods. So for your final paper, you're going to have to use at least 2 measurement tools for your operationally defined problem, which we're going to get into a little bit later on. 2, identify practice problems and establish measurable goals. That's going to be something that we're doing relatively early on. 3, specify interventions utilized. 4, present research results in appropriate fashion. And I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time in the second half of the semester going through this. 5, understand the connection between evaluation, research, and direct practice. That's kind of the main process of your project for this course. And I'm thinking that we should be able to do pretty well with it, and understand multicultural issues and how they relate to your practice and your research findings. All right, then lastly, the book that you're going to need is Bloom, Fisher, and Orme, Evaluation Practice Guidelines for Accountable Profession. So you can either get this at UWM's bookstore or on Amazon as well. So grading, what everybody's panicked about. Fortunately, I feel that I'm a pretty generous grader. This course is out of 230 points. There's 5 short assignments, each worth 20 points. The paper is worth 100 points, so just under half of the points for the semester. But there's a really large overlap between the short assignments and the paper. So in order to do well on the paper, you're also going to need to put in a good amount of effort into the short assignments. But the good thing about that, I'll get into a little bit later on, is that you do get a chance to redo the short assignments, as opposed to just deducting points if I see that you're doing something wrong. I'd rather see you put effort into correcting it so that you understand how to do this and you're getting something out of the course. And then lastly, class participation is going to be worth 30 points. So I'm going to be posting stuff to the discussion forum, questions that I'd like for you to answer, SIGWIN activities. So those 30 points are going to basically come from how much you've been participating in the discussion forum. And I'm going to be posting some guidelines or rubric online about what I'm expecting for excellent, great participation versus not so great participation. All right, so here are basically the guidelines for the discussion forum for excellent participation. I want to see that you're adding value. As far as the SIGWIN activities, seeing that you're putting effort into them, that you're answering questions rigorously, attentive to detail, participating in the discussion. And you can also read a little bit further about what's good, fair, and poor participation. All right, so just some more of my expectations of students, that you're actively participating, completing all the reading assignments, and to let me know in advance if anything would come up that would prevent you from having any of your assignments in on time. So the more time you tell me in advance, the more I can try to help you to come up with a different plan for making up the assignment. Also, I can't hold full responsibility for holding on to your assignments, so I would recommend that you post them to D2L, but also save a copy on your computer. Don't delete it right away, just in case anything happens with D2L. I've had people complain before that they thought they uploaded something, but they didn't. So it's always a good idea to hang on to whatever you've done. Okay, so students' words should be in their own words, except for where appropriately cited. So I will say that I'm a stickler for APA format and citing, and huge on checking for plagiarism. So even though I'm going to be posting some examples from previous semesters, I don't want you to copy anything from them. I want you to write everything in your own words. If you're going to be using sources from your textbook, make sure to cite them and use quotations if it's more than 3 words in a string. I'm going to be running your papers through a similarities checker to ensure that everything is in your own words. And I'm not doing this to punish you, but to make sure that you understand how to cite properly and that you are following by APA format for that. There have been times in the past where I've noticed students' papers were strikingly similar to the example paper that has been posted. And in that case, I might send it back to you and say that you need to redo this and put it in your own words. All right, so students are expected to complete all coursework by the end of the semester. Otherwise, you'll get an incomplete. I've never given an incomplete before, but it's under kind of extreme circumstances that you would get that. 7 students expected to contact me 2 weeks within receiving the grades if they feel that they've been graded unfairly. And then we can talk about it at that point. Generally, I've never had that happen before, but just to let you know that it needs to be within 2 weeks. And 8, if a student needs accommodations for special requirements, anything, let me know. And there's a Student Accessibility Center that's really awesome for that. So if you have any questions or anything they can help you with, please check them out. They're a really great resource, and they give me a visa, and that helps me so much with making sure that I'm meeting your standards and that I'm helping you out in any way that I possibly can. All right, so assignments. For short assignments, there's going to be 5 short assignments. They're related to single system design and the course content. So you'll either receive 20 full points, 15 is partial credit, or 0 is no credit if you haven't turned it in. But if you do get partial credit, you'll have up to 1 week to make the corrections and resubmit it for full credit. So if you submit something and I give you a 15 and you get it back to me within a week with the corrections, and everything looks good, then I can give you the full 20 points, even if you didn't get the full points the first time. But just so you know that you can only have one opportunity to make these corrections for full points. So if you hand in something and it was incorrect and you submit it to me again and it's still incorrect, you've only got the one opportunity to make the corrections. It just helps with the flow of the course and keeping things moving. All right, and then your paper assignment. I'm going to be going through this in a different video, so I'm going to skip this part of the syllabus and make an entirely different video related to the course paper. All right, so for this section of the syllabus, I don't have dates in here. The dates are going to be posted in your actual syllabus, but for the purposes of this, I'm just going to use Module 1, Module 2. So the basic overview of the course is that there's going to be an introduction section where I'm going to be covering the syllabus, which is today. Next week, we're going to be talking about the prologue, so I'd like for you to read the prologue for next week. And then short assignment number 1 and 2 will be posted. Section 3 of the course is related to measurement, so we're going to be talking about measurement recording plans and behavioral observations. Also, you're going to have some reading assignment for Chapter 4. When we get into Module 4 is the individualized rating scale. So that's when short assignment number 1 and 2 are going to be due, and I'll get them back to you by Module 5. Module 5, short assignment number 3 will be posted, and we'll talk about logs, reactivity, and non-reactivity and measurement. And by Section 4 with Module 6, we'll be talking about evaluation designs and causality. Module 7, we'll talk about case studies, and short assignment number 4 is going to be posted, which is also the same time that short assignment number 3 is going to be due. So again, if you have any questions with short assignment number 3, make sure to send those to me. Otherwise, you'll have 1 week to make those corrections. And as we move towards the end of the semester, you can see that we've talked about single system designs and measurement in the beginning, talking about goal setting. By the time we get to Module 9, we're going to be talking about analyzing the data after you've already collected it. Module 10 is descriptive statistics, and a lot of people start to worry when they hear that there's statistics involved in this course, but I would say that they're very basic entry-level statistics. If you know how to calculate a mean, median, you should be pretty much set for this course. All right, and then Module 11 is going to be about ethical considerations, wrapping up a single system designs. And I'd like for you to have your client data collected by then so that I can help you out with it. And if you want to send me your data, I can help you to analyze it and email it back to you. Otherwise, if you want to send me a tentative write-up, I can do that, look it over and send that back to you with any feedback that I've got. For Module 12, if you want to try to set up a meeting with me via Skype or something like that, I'd be happy to do that. But again, if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's totally optional. But short assignment number 5 is due by then. Module 13 is essentially when your paper is due. So again, that's all for the syllabus, but when you see the syllabus that's posted to the site, it's actually going to have the dates in it.